Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany and today I have a fun topic. Today I will be discussing, can you thrift things for your homeschool for 5 and under? So I will be sharing just a fun haul, some homeschool things. Now this is not a ton of what I have thrifted, but I hope to give some tips and some tricks, as well as, again, just a haul of things that I've started to collect. This is not just all in one trip. This is several trips as I try to intentionally look ahead to what what my children and I will be focusing on. And so let's get started. I have tons of baskets displayed all throughout my house for everything. 90% of the baskets, if not 95% of the baskets that I have in my house, I have thrifted. This is a good size of a basket for $1.99. I thrifted this bad boy just for underbed storage. It looks pretty. It is prettier than a plastic bin, yet it will hold a lot of items. I could throw it as a book basket. It will corral all of the things. So while you're out thrifting, always check the baskets. I'm always finding inspiration on Pinterest, and I would encourage you just to kind of browse, start a pin, and then when you're going thrifting, again, be intentional. If you are looking and you're shopping and you pick up an item and you're not sure how you're going to use it, maybe just put it back. That's probably a good sign that you do not need it. But if you find a basket and you know right away, hey, I am going to use this for my son's train tracks and it's going straight into his bed, that's something you can use. Also, I am, like I said, this is homeschool because the sort of philosophy we follow is really big. As I said, we have 5, 4 and under. We have 4, 5 and under. And open-ended toys is really what we bring into this home. And so it is kind of a lot of loose pieces, but when kept together, really allows your child to invent and create. And that kind of just brings me to my next topic, is just arts and crafts. When you're thrifting, keep an eye out for your arts and crafts. So I thrifted. I put them in this little bag because I just felt like it was easier, but they came actually in the Melissa and Doug case, the wooden little case that she puts everything in, with the ink, as well as every single letter, uppercase and lowercase, on the Melissa and Doug set. And so they're just little stamps that the kids can then go and make cards with or practice letter sounds. I can ask them, find me the K, put it in the dough. You know, there's just tons of possibilities. Again, another thing to keep your eyes out for is when you're looking through the arts and crafts is just paper, construction paper, crayons. There is always tons in the arts and crafts section. But again, with the same mentality, only grab it if you need it. So we have found a lot of great things, but we just did not need to bring it into our home because we have a wonderful amount of arts and crafts supplies in our home that we've just already provided to our kids. Again, that's a wonderful resource to give to your kids to allow invention and creativity. They're open-ended, and your child, it really pushes your child to have to create. And so that's always something worth looking at when you are out thrifting. And honestly, the majority of the things you find will almost be brand new, if not, they're hardly even have been used. And next we have, again, this is something I thrifted, but were not even used. And there was tons of other paper out. I just did not need it, but I loved this parchment paper for printing on, and I have a little DIY. I might try to make a video about it. Stay tuned. We'll see how it goes. I also grabbed these sheet protectors I thrifted, and I use these for my recipe book, so not homeschool related, but I put recipes in here and then I put them in a binder because I am a messy cook. So this just kind of protects all my recipes, but also I can print curricula and put them in here and then put them in a binder and have it that way. So I can pull it out, pull it with me. I can be a little more rough with it. That I can spill coffee on it because that is honestly what always happens. Every single Bible I own, every single journal I own has at least a spot of spilled coffee in it, sadly. So I really struggle with my coffee issue, but you can keep your eye out for just things like this: folders, binders, any sort of school supplies, construction paper that you might feel can add to your homeschool is worth checking forever and ever at the thrift store, and you'll find it. This is from Staples. I've never shopped at Staples, so I have no idea the price is, but it was 99 cents for 200. Okay, I cannot even get 50 for under $5 at Walgreens, so that was an absolute steal. My next thing, which I love, and I'm sure this is like no news to you if you've thrifted before, the number one thing to look at when you're thrifting is books, because you can get them for an absolute steal. I thrifted the Chronicles of Narnia. I actually am missing 2, so it's not the full set. I think I have another 1 or 2 in the room. Actually, I think I have 1, but for 10 cents. So I have 5 books, one's in, I know for sure, in the room, and for 50 cents, like 10 cents a book. Like, where are you gonna find that? Looking for poetry, I've got this poetry book. I mean, I can't even show you the book. Every single book we own has basically been thrifted. And encyclopedias, classics, seasonal books, just wonderful. These are hardcover, so they're not even, like, this is not hardcover, but this is an old book. It says $1.95. Like, when was the book $1.95? I wish. But always check the books, especially, I really hate to say this, but classics are just being disposed left and right by our public school system, which is great for us, but also really sad for the kids who are in the public school system, because honestly, that's where the value is. Worth noting, if you do not follow the Read Aloud Revival, I can't think of her name. Just look up Read Aloud Revival. Now she puts a little more modern books, and I haven't loved all of them, but she has a wonderful display of just all the books. She gives what we call reading lists in the homeschooling community, where you can take this list, and when you go thrifting, these are the things you look for. And as you start just like looking over book titles, you're just gonna start being able to pick out, like, I don't even take a book list, but I know a classic when I see one. I know an author's name when I see one. Like, it just is so helpful as you start to look through and sifting through just all the tons of books that you can go through. It really just helps to have maybe one of those lists on your phone, or saved to our favorites on your phone that you can just pull up last minute. And then this brings me to another fun one, is because we homeschool, one thing to think about. Now, we follow a Charlotte Mason philosophy, but as you're out, okay, so let me pause right there. Because we follow a Charlotte Mason philosophy, and her philosophy has really completely 180'd my understanding of education. Our desire for Josh and I is to make our home filled with life-giving ideas. Everything we do, I want to give life to my children, and not only their soul, but also their mind. I want to feed their spirit. I want to feed them obviously physically, and then I want to feed them mentally with the very best. In the same way, I don't only feed them candy every day, or I try to give them the best food that I can, and that's fit to our budget. I also try to give them the best in education and knowledge and books, and as well for their eyes, the things they hear, the very best music that we can find, and also the very best for sight. And so we love beautiful images, which is one reason we really study classical music and art. And so with that, we also want to make our education an atmosphere. I want no boundaries. I want everything to be blurred. Education is lifelong, and it is not just from 8 to 4, but rather from the moment we get up, we learn, to the moment we go to bed, is investigating, learning, educating ourselves with the very best. And so I try to, long-winded, to decorating our home with things that are life-giving and just a part of what we use every day in our school. And so beautiful books are a great way to really just decorate and spaz up your house, but also things that you're using, especially because we follow Charlotte Mason, we love classics, and so there are just beautiful books that are classics if you can find them. Again, when you're thrifting, you are presented with the opportunity to find these beautiful things. Another thing that we have thrifted is just some beautiful art that we can hang around the house that just feeds the senses. Again, like a nature scene connects them with creation, creator. And I have some kind of throughout the house, but I have a huge Matisse painting. Well, obviously it's a reprint, but it is a painting, a reprint of a painting from Matisse that is hung in my son's bedroom. It is lovely, it is beautiful, and it was so affordable because I found it at a thrift store. Another thing I was able to thrift, which I only have one now because we're studying actually Da Vinci in this term, but I had 21, I think, artists, and they're not too thick, but the art within the book is just, so you can see the size of the book compared to my head. And so obviously this is Da Vinci, so they're all just absolutely incredible, but just wonderful sized paintings. And just, again, filling your children up with the very best of beauty. And so this is something I thrifted, but looking for art and books on art, books on composers, and I mean, you can just find tons of stuff when you're thrifting. So these are just some things to keep your eye out for. But as you're trying to decorate your home, how do you do it? To be thinking of how can you do it in such a way that feeds your child with knowledge, and again, just fills them up with truth, beauty, and goodness. Which, whether you homeschool or not, like, this is not only just a good idea, it's a command from God. In my last video, I talked about it, and Philippians, this is what Paul is writing about. And so we should be only giving our kids what is lovely and true and good for building up. And then another thing while you're out thrifting is you want to be feeding your children with things that are life-giving, in the sense, okay, life-giving, how is this thing that we are focusing on, or in what way? Maybe you've never asked that question. How can I as a mother start to cultivate skills within my child that they will then be able to use to serve others? So rather than really, like, our mentality growing up was like, I want to create, I want to give you so you can go out and get a good job, which is not bad, but it's so, we as believers, there's so much more than just that. God tells us to consider others more significant than yourself. So how do we create a life of education that trains up our children so that they can serve others? And they can do it selflessly, which is, again, a command from our Creator. So, for instance, cookbooks. So this is just a good one to have because it covers everything, especially if you're just new. Like, I was very blessed. I had a wonderful mother. She cooked us breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but she did not teach us how to cook. So cooking, I had to learn that on my own. And so this just kind of covers everything that I didn't even see her do. or much less I didn't get to do, I didn't get to be in the kitchen learning. So I really want to take this and then give it to my daughter and teach her, okay, let's do this together. Let me build you up. And so my daughter's 5. She just cooked her very first breakfast, sausage and eggs, on the oven, did a phenomenal job. And like, what a profound privilege that we get to do this for our kids. So keeping an eye out for ways you can teach your children, skills that you can give to your children. Let it be cooking, sewing, macrame, embroidery, what else? Crafts for your son, tools for your son, gardening for your children, farm, I'm sorry, I'm thinking off the cuff, so those are just a few ideas. And on that same note, I was able to find just these wonderful vintage cookie cutters. So for Valentine's Day, I might be thinking, again, another video, something I'm thinking about for the kids, whether that be pancakes, biscuits, who knows, cookies. So maybe stay tuned for that, but just tons of things. You can also find tons of pots and pans that you can put outside for your kids' mud kitchen. So keep an eye out for that while you're thrifting. And then, open-ended toys. Like, you cannot forget to check the toys when you are there. Just be mindful. That's something you can do really quickly. If you watch one of my Christmas videos, you saw I thrifted a whole set of Lincoln Logs, which was an incredible find for, I think, under $5, and it was a huge set. Lincoln Logs are like $48, I think, on Amazon, and I was able to find the whole set and give that to my son for Christmas. So just keep your eyes open for blocks and puzzles. Did I even bring it? No, let's see. This was something else I thrifted. Just learning toys along with the toy idea. So just rhyming words. So presenting your children with games that are feeding them educationally, and they have no idea that they're even doing school, if you want to say it that way. But just a wonderful thing that you can give to your kids and bless them with these amazing things for just obviously like the most affordable way. Another thing I thrifted was this setting. It's a remake, but it is a printing drawer. So they used to have like the stamps that they would use to print with in the old days. Now this is a remake. This is from the 70s. But my children and I have a desire to be out in nature. One, because just all the physical benefits of it, but also on a more biblical worldview, it connects you with Creator in so many ways. So you're constantly looking around at all of the things God created, and in that, really getting to view the Creator in His whole beauty and His creativity, and just see how wonderful He is to have blessed us with every kind of tree, every kind of bird. And that's just like what we see here in our backyard. I live in South Texas, so the cactus and the different sort of animals that we have in this region, and the soil we have in this region, and just how God could have given us one tree, but rather He gave us, I don't even know how many trees we have. We have just in this area tons. And so just allowing your kids to get out in nature, and that we want to use to store up our nature, what we find. So whether it be a pine cone or it is a rock or whatever, we are planning to use that for our nature finds and put them on that, and just kind of have them in a displayed beautifully.